do this right. All right. What is up, YouTube? MCL40 here with...
Yes, yes.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe.
Call,
Perhaps.
call me maybe?
Sometimes. Yeah, call me maybe.
Why don't you ever call me?
I don't ever call you. You're not my type.
Oh, damn.
I like
Fucking...
I like my men actually a little bigger than you. Like
The fuck you mean bigger than me? I'm a fucking whale.
I mean you're a humpback. I like blue whales. Like the fucking just like we're
Mm.
talking fucking school bus. I'm talking like the school bus tilts, like them bitches. Yeah.
So today on the School Bus of Horror, we're going to be exploring Bible Black and touching on Pornhub and how beating a woman is not acceptable.
Absolutely, and like we're actually gonna do like the default browsers like logo on the
Yeah,
fucking thumbnails of this video for the click.
right here. So
Right.
we're actually going to be talking about how to be better at Yu-Gi-Oh! And first off, you have to have a credit card, preferably your mother's. You have to go on to browsers and get a subscription and give
Absolutely.
us the password and the username. That's all we need.
Absolutely, yep. And those websites actually don't work, believe it or not. If you want a login for a porn site,
They
usually the
do not
logins
work.
do not work.
My friend kept spamming me the other day in a message saying, Robbie, I have a browser's password for a day. I'm like, no, you don't.
Okay, so no, for real though. I mean, not you don't need your mom's credit card, okay, to be good.
To be good at you. Well, actually, to be fair, I've heard some stories about stupid shit like that. They're like, I'm gonna go borrow my mom's credit card to buy some cards. Like,
But
what? Like,
no, you don't need any of that. You need to make a YouTube account. You need to upload some really shitty quality videos with your cell phone, shaky, poor audio of like your really shitty deck, and then you need to get like 3 or 4 of your friends to watch the video, and then what you need to do is the next video after that, after you gain some credibility with your 3 or 4 friends, you have to do a whole rant on why the meta sucks and why your tier 25 deck is superior. That is exactly what you need to be.
see, I disagree. I think you're full of shit, first off. I think you need to have a Facebook account with an anime profile picture. And you just gotta straight come out of the woodwork and say, hi guys, I just bought a star pack. I pulled a polymerization. What is a very good... Fuck, I don't even know what tier 4
You played that in the show. You know it's got to be good. Woo, damn.
Hey,
Hot
you
damn.
stay the fuck away from my gadgets. Yugi played them too. So,
Dude, well, they got good gadgets now, though.
so the purpose of this video, outside of our massive sarcasm, because we work good together. So,
Woo.
obviously, we're going to be talking about how to get better at Yu-Gi-Oh! Yugi Yes over here hasn't played competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! In how long?
Few months, like...
That's like being clean from drinking alcohol. It doesn't fucking work. You're always curious.
On that note, I haven't drank today. So there's
Damn
that.
it!
So I have replaced my beer with coffee today.
We are filming this at 3 a.m. essentially, so I would expect you not to have drunk yet.
No, not yet. If I do drink, it's gonna help me. It's gonna help me sleep tonight, though. After this fucking train wreck of a video.
Well, first off, first thing that you shouldn't do when going to a Yu-Gi-Oh event to be better is drink.
Yeah. No. Actually, drink a lot of coffee. My top, what I don't remember what I placed with Monarchs. It was divisible by 3. It was either freaking 9th or 12th, or it was higher than top 16. It was top 16.
15th?
No, it was I don't know. It was whatever it was. But no, it was with Monarchs. I loved Monarch format, by the way, and it was like, I don't know. I drank so much coffee that day. I was just like in the zone all day, like I'm freaking just like this. You know what I mean? The whole damn time. But it was just great. It was fantastic. So yeah, don't drink beer. Drink coffee. Coffee is the breakfast of champions. But if you need to sleep, alcohol is great.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say in this video is the Yu-Gi-Oh community has a massive Adderall addiction to being good at Yu-Gi-Oh. Like this is one of the things like that isn't talked about really, but the amount of players that do Adderall is just too goddamn high. And I mean, even I'm gonna open Pandora's box and even mention the amount of people that smoke. I don't condone it, but Konami has a strict policy against it. That's why I'm pretty sure I read "Don't make me regret going to Denver" for a ACS.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing is, like, obviously, if you're going to play Yu-Gi-Oh, solely rely on yourself and not the influence of outside denominators, outside of caffeine, because caffeine is good.
My buddy Cole actually chews tobacco when he plays.
Really?
I do sometimes too, honestly. Yeah, I actually chew tobacco, believe it or not, because I quit smoking. It's not much better.
So it's essentially just a nervous habit. Like you're doing something.
Well, no, I mean, no, I actually have smoked. I smoked since I was like 15. It had nothing to do with Yu-Gi-Oh. It's just like nicotine's fantastic. Not condoning nicotine though.
This is like a massive fucking circle jerk ad for fucking things that you shouldn't be doing. And
right.
Okay, so me and YugiNoNo were sitting here. We were talking before we sat down and started filming this video. Honestly, we wanted to like kind of beat the shit out of goat control a little bit here because he's passionate about it, and I don't like goat control. So
I have been like the number one. I've been the devil's advocate actually for
the
goat
fucking
control.
devil's advocate. You don't wear fucking Prada. Shut the fuck up.
I mean, I could. I mean, you know, for the right price, I guess. But I mean, everyone's got their price, right?
What is your price?
I'm like $20.
Oh. All right. So why do you like goat control? Like, why?
Well, it's what I like, you know, briefly touched on earlier. It's, you know, I know you don't like goat control because you lived it more than I did. I mean, because you're an old fuck. But it's like you lived it when it was just like everyone was playing goat control. Like everyone, like literally everyone was playing goat control. Like the format has evolved, like in goat format events, like so much further than that. Like looking, like the best example of that is looking back at the format. Zoo Beatdown, Beast Down, whatever you want to call it, is debatably the best deck of the format. Looking back, playing cards like we discussed, Trap Dust Shoot, which no one took advantage of back in the day. It maxes out on Trap Dust Shoot. It can play Skill Drain with no problem. And Skill Drain, even though MST, Breaker, Heavy, Breaker doesn't hurt it, but you know what I mean. Skill Drain, being vulnerable to MST and Heavy, I mean, like it still is like devastating to a player like that relies on like Magician of Faith, relies on Dequechi, or relies on like, you know, all of these flip effects. Or I mean, it's just what are you gonna do? Like, what's a goat player to do? You know, when you rely on your flip effects and you rely on that 1,000 Eyes Restrict and stuff against skill drain, it's revolutionary. You know, when you know everyone's going to be playing goat format. I mean, it's very similar to like, you know, Glasgow Yu-Gi-Oh, like the Yu-Gi-Oh Inception, you know, like the net deck Inception thing that he touched on. It's very similar to that, but looking back at a format that is not going to change, so you can keep working it and nothing is going to change. It's not like you work it, oh, there's a ban list, oh, there's a new deck, oh, there's a new set, yada, yada. You know, it changes everything. This is something that is finite, that you can keep going back to, keep innovating, and that's what makes it badass, period. Like,
okay,
yeah.
So, damn, didn't drop the mic on me here. But here's the thing with it, though. So, goat control is finite, and one of the problems I have with that format is you are essentially in a little triangle. At one point in time, one thing will be hot, so you'll be playing the other deck on the opposite side of the triangle until someone else decides to rotate over to the other side. And
not necessarily true at all. Benkai OTK has been innovated a little bit. I mean, like right now, I would say that the hottest deck at a GOAT tournament would probably end up being Zoo Beatdown, because people, you know, in recent GOAT format, you know, deck profiles and stuff I've seen, a lot of them like swear by, you know, Zoo Beatdown because they say goats suck, this is better. Well, then you have like your GOAT players or your Monarch players or your Zombie players. I mean, name your deck that was available at the time. You know, they're going to be like, okay, well, everyone's going to be playing Zoo, so what can I do to go against Zoo? And then you have people that will probably start maining like Smashing Ground, for example. Or
well, that's the point. That's the point I was trying to make, though, was, you know, you're eventually going to start making picks to counterpick, and then you'll have the one guy that enters into the room that has the counterpick for the counterpick.
Right.
You know, and he might get lucky.
But isn't that exactly how Yu-Gi-Oh is now, though? Like, well, minus, you know, Zodiac, you know, Tier 0 format that we're in now. Minus that.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, the thing that polarizes Zoo is Jesus Christ. The fact that people like Go format so much is because it teaches you card advantage. Teaches you to always constantly value your cards. You
Well,
know,
that's not necessarily true on its own because I would argue that that May 2002 format, which is a format I also play, call me a scrub, whatever. I think that teaches you card advantage just as well as Go format does. But like barely anybody plays 2002 format over Go format.
yeah, but the problem with GOAT format. So back to my point here. So
I'll stop interrupting.
the you're fine. But the thing that people always gloat about in that format is strictly teaching you card value. And
Right.
obviously Benkai at OTK teaches you that you equip everything and go balls to the wall. And if you're
Giant heavy storm.
well, yeah, you also don't have to worry about hand traps in that format, which is another layer of icing on the cake. But I'm only salty about this format because Amazon has chain master kicked my fucking ass every week at locals, and just losing Blockbuster Soldier to my opponent to could summon two of them made me just want to,
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
And also I'm experiencing what we experienced last format, like I told you earlier. You knew the next best thing was coming out, which was Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon enabled Future Fusion, enabled all the really weird shit that came out later on in his time, and it was just the gateway into another format. And
not to mention him being just a free 2100 all on his own.
Yep. And there was like what, a 2-week window where Cyber Dragon was legal in GOAT format, and like it did reconstruct it. But like I know the GOAT format kind of just like tucks that in the corner and says,
yeah, like no, we forget about that, like, and just like, but then they pick like, after it's like, oh, but we like Xerion Universe.
Wasn't Cyberstein the prize card at that time?
Yeah, it was the Shonen Jump, I think it was, yeah. And then, I think Crush Card was too, wasn't it? Or Deck Devastation Virus?
I think Crush was after.
Okay, so yeah, Cyberstein, yeah. That sounds about right.
So are you like an asshole if you play Cyberstein in that format? Like, what if you get out the Shonen Jump? Like I got it right here.
No, I'm actually not like a stickler for it. Like there's like some GOAT purist people out there that just, they don't even allow Xerion, you know what I mean? They don't allow a lot of things in GOAT format, and they really, really stick to priority. Like I'll adjust. Like I mean, some people like to play GOAT format and don't like to play priority. I don't really necessarily agree with that, but I accept it and I play it because it's interesting. Playing it without priority versus with priority.
So I gotta cut you off here, but how the fuck is this supposed to make someone better?
It makes somebody better because you get to really think about card choices. Right here, like the triangle that you were talking about, or the pussy, whatever you want to call it, right here. Okay, like look right here. It teaches you that there will be a best deck at the top. It's actually
the clitoris is right up here.
You made a fantastic point. Okay, so here's your top deck. Then you have, let's just say, 2, 3, 4 other decks. Okay. This is the top deck. People will start gunning for this deck, which will make this deck good, which will make people want to play against that deck. It teaches you that in a more simplified way, I would argue, like in a much faster time, because everything is staying still. You know what I mean? It's just finite. It teaches you to think about how to side against major decks, or innovate decks without necessarily having to sit there and pick through all the new shit and everything that goes with trying to find what's best against modern stuff. I mean, some of the stuff is just obvious that we've had for a while. Like, for example, against Zoo, we have Maxi. Like, that's just a, obvious card to go against Zoo. Or
it is important to note that during the time of GOAT format, YVD existed, and it did allow the format to be slightly solved slightly faster back in the day. Because of Yu-Gi-Oh! Virtual Desktop, much like the problem we had with Dueling Network being around and allowing for things to be solved much faster. I think that's another reason why I got so burned out on GOAT format, was because we had the solvability and everything that was in front of us much faster.
Right. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I mean, you can argue that GOAT format doesn't make you a better player, and you can argue that, just a bunch of nostalgic scrubs play it.
I don't think it makes you a better player now, because the essential value in card advantage as opposed to today's format, like, this lets me shift into topic change here.
Man.
Okay, so in today's format, if you're looking back at GOAT Control, you get a very strong value of Giant Trinade, even Torrent's Tribute was a good card in that fucking format.
Yeah, it was a good format. A good card for that format.
Heavy Storm, things like that. And in today's format, you look at Max C, you're like, I can just slam this on the table and punish my opponent. As opposed to, do I need to Heavy Storm now, or can I let my monster eat it up and go from there. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the new players coming into this game struggle to like learn advantage because the cards, I'm not going to say they're a lot more retarded, but like they're a little bit easier to use.
Well, yeah, you do have to understand card advantage in Yu-Gi-Oh! And card advantage still to this day might be the most important factor in Yu-Gi-Oh! Minus.
What are you talking about? Zoo lets you get a Dryden on the board, an Emerald, and a free draw for one normal summon or a one spell card.
I mean, even like but people have innovated decks to get pluses. I mean, think about Necroz. I mean, we were talking about Necroz earlier too. I mean, Necroz had the +2 move with the Valk off of Lavalval Chain. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that was a freaking awesome move. Was it +2 or +3?
But but here's the thing though. So is that advantage created? Is that something I can just wipe off the board with a board wipe? You know,
no.
I have 6 of those now.
Right. I mean, 6 of them. Oh yeah, Double Dark Hole Raigeki Kaijus. Yeah.
having a card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh that deck thins you by 2 and lets you deal 1100 damage to your opponent is pretty good.
And I got to pit my Cyber Dragons here, and lets you go into Chimera Tech with their Kaiju that you gave them.
Oh yeah. I
literally
forget.
My Cyber Dragons.
Did you know that it's been like 9 years for Max C to be a card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think. No, it was DD Crow. DD Crow's been out since Strike of the Neos.
DD Crow's amazing. Like, that card's still kicking ass in certain formats. Sometimes some formats it's dead as shit, but
Crow's a very important card because much like Valor, it is a -1. And it's not self-replacing like Max C.
Yeah.
And it's a card that teaches you to value your card advantage because obviously you can trigger it to be a 1-for-1, but it teaches you the real value into what to nullify in your opponent's play.
That's true. Like, I mean, not all discard effects these days really teach you that because, I mean, take Burning Abyss, for example, where you have cards like, I don't know, off the top of my head, Raigeki Break.
Phoenix Moon Blast.
Yeah, Phoenix. I mean, you discard a card, you know, to spin a card with Phoenix, but you're not really having to discard a card because that's going to flow. It's going to trigger when it hits the graveyard, and like many decks do that. I mean, but you can argue the same thing with GOAT format though about like Sinister Serpent, you know how that worked. But let's not go back to GOAT format.
Man, you fucking just stop sucking the little goat's penis. Like it's all like just.
It's fun, dude. It's just
little scapegoats. Fucking 4 of them. Just line them up.
It's just fucking. It's good. Like,
come here, purple goat. You're my favorite. Yes, you are.
Look, man. Look. Now, people have played GOAT format for so long for a good reason. Okay, it's because it's fucking fun. So I'm not the only one.
I fucking cookie cutter chaos was fun. All right, fucking painful choice.
No.
See, but this is the thing though. Every person has their own value in which they place on things. You know, and that's probably another reason why I didn't like GOAT format was because I never got to play Gadgets. Gadgets taught me card advantage.
Right.
+1s consistently every turn is really fucking good, up until like Dragon Rollers where it didn't matter anymore.
Right. No, I liked where you were going with DD Crow because DD Crow and Baylor because you are right. Those are -1s, but they teach you you know, the value of stopping your opponent, and I think that's something we could segue into here is. Cards, knowing like what cards to play to stop your opponent.
Okay. Nope. My turn. Sorry.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up. My turn. So 3 Solemn Judgment versus 3 Solemn Judgment. Excellent prime example of how to not fuck up a card. First off, kids, life points in Yu-Gi-Oh! Round up. So if you go from 25 down to 12.5, you go up to 13. If you're at 1 life point, you can infinitely Solemn Judgment. For some reason. I don't remember why that's relevant. But no, Solemn Judgment, was it at 3 in GOAT format? I don't remember anymore.
It was at 3. It was not on the ban list, though.
Okay, so in GOAT format, if you decide to go down the dark corridor of playing Solemn Judgment...
Which no one really did. It just depends.
But in other formats from like the old time, if you're playing Judgment, if you misplay your Judgment, it can cost you the game.
Right.
Would you say that Judgment is a fine example of when to play a card appropriately or get punished for it?
Yeah, Judgment and I would argue even Strike, just because like if you don't want your opponent to bait out your strike. Like if you fall for the bait and like strike something prematurely and your opponent still goes off, it's your own damn fault. Like if the opponent, you know, I mean, you want use it on, I don't know, let's just say a Castell for example, instead of like the gadget getting a surge. It's a horrible example, but you know what I mean.
It's just a floater, essentially. He's just doing his job.
Right.
But at some points, though, you will value the shutting off of the engine is much more important than the potential game. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen a hero player top deck Miracle Fusion for game because it's their God-given right.
Right.
Now, like, think about that. Like, look back at every hero format ever. Like, I swear to God, every hero player I've ever met in my life is just like, top decking mode, Miracle Fusion.
Yeah.
Wow, Jaden, right here, buddy.
Like, it's like the MLG, like, bow, wow, 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 wow.
Fucking, like, boom.
Yeah. And then, or fucking Evil Swarm's like, I drew Kirkion. Oh! Like, dude, you know it's true. Evil Swarms have the best. Like Evil Swarm players have the best luck fucking top decking that Kirkion like every goddamn time. I know.
See, like, so in order to be good at Yu-Gi-Oh, we've talked about go control in terms of advantage. We just touched on the luck aspect of this game, which you can tell like it's in our bones. Don't even Monster Reborn.
Yeah. Okay. Are we going to talk about Monster Reborn, really?
I mean, that card literally reads, I am Miracle Fusion.
That card just literally made my voice get higher. Did you hear that? It was like, okay.
Yeah, his balls dropped. The Pharaoh's coming out.
They came into my fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!
They're like, we can never have that card back because of how degenerate it is.
Especially getting stuff out of either player's graveyard. Oh my gosh, that's what really breaks the card, in my opinion. Not just the special summon and the combos that it would lead to these days, but getting something sacky from your opponent's fucking graveyard that you outed is like, it's so stupid. Like okay, so that reminds me. Okay, so let's talk about cards that could maybe. No, let's not get into a banlist discussion. But I will bring up one thing though. Snatch Steal. Remember when Konami made Snatch Steal legal and it was around for Necros format? Mm-hmm. Do you remember how sacky that was? Like, for no reason. Like, every time I played against somebody, like, if they top deck Snatch Steal, I swear they beat me. Like,
well, I mean, there's always going to be inherent cards in the game, like, that technically required no skill, that are slightly mindless. You know, we know this. And we've seen it. D-Barrier is one of those cards at the moment. Yeah.
Yes. Vanity's Emptiness is a prime example. Skill Drain is another really historic example. Lose one turn hasn't gotten there yet, but it's probably
Anti-Spell Fragrance.
Yeah, dude. It's actually one of my favorite cards.
I mean, I absolutely agree with you. Not letting your opponent play Yu-Gi-Oh is great.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, so the people who come to this video, they've been here for 24 minutes. They're like, but how do we get better? Like, what do we do?
Okay, you get better by understanding not only card advantage, okay, but knowing you need to understand timing against your opponent. You need to really, really. Okay, let me just go over this timing against your opponent.
Back the fuck up, beep.
Okay,
beep.
regarding Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning, Effect Veiler. X amount of reactive cards against your opponent. You have to play every deck. You have every relevant deck, not every single deck, but every relevant. Man, get that out of here. Every relevant deck in the format. Let's just say let's use Domain Monarch format. That's a pretty relatively recent, a year ago, but relatively recent format.
I like where you're going here.
Okay, like. You need to play Domain Monarchs because you know that deck's a structure deck, and that's a very popular deck. Structure decks are, most of the time the most popular decks that people play because they're fucking cheap. Okay, so you need to know how to play against that deck. So you need to play that deck. Plus, like, a structure deck's only $30 for 3 structure decks. Pick it up or net deck it, whatever. Study it repeatedly until you figure out, like, not only what it does but how to beat it. And you need to, like, and also in Monarch format, you had PK Fire. That was also a really, really, really good deck. So you need to understand, like, what PK Fire does, how it generates advantage, like, how to effectively get around, like, Burning Abyss, monsters floating, because that deck, I swear, can last forever.
So you have a mentality similar to me here, that you feel that you need to be able to actively play every deck in order to, once you're behind the wheel, you can see where the flaws are of it, correct?
Right. That is how you get good at Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, you need to understand card advantage and, like, the basics that we've satirically talked about this entire this entire video. I mean, those are some basics that you need to understand, but you need to play every single relevant deck, and you don't obviously have to buy the decks. I mean, we have things like YGO Pro, Dev Pro. We have Duel Nexus. Dueling Book is it up yet? I don't know.
Oh, you mean the grinder of the Yu-Gi-Oh community?
Yeah, is it there? I don't know.
I've been on there. It's the grinder of the Yu-Gi-Oh community. You can seek male on male or female on male. Like, it's bad. But anyway, no, like I like where you're going. Like, it is very crucial that players kind of essentially master the metagame. You know, just because like you've picked up Zoo and you're wanting to play Zoo, but like if you don't know how Infernoid works, you know, you might get blown out of the left field by it. Or if you didn't study up on how to play Metaphors last format, or you know, even so much if you're looking forward to Maximum Crisis and you're sitting here wanting to like pick up True Dracos because you think they're going to be good, you know, like you have to have some sort of understanding of where you're going with this. So playtest. We can't stress that enough. I mean, we don't mean 20 hours a day, Patrick Hoban level this shit, but you know,
enough to where you're not ignorant about the deck that you're playing.
7 hours a week isn't terrible. An hour a day or 2 hours every other day.
I mean, something like that.
That's not all, folks. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Please check out my Cardfight Vanguard channel, VanCole40. You guys will get an insight on our playtesting sessions. And please check out the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. That way you guys can follow the House of Champions and MCole40 interactions. Please check out MCole Games for all of your guys' trading card game needs. And if you guys enjoyed this content, please check out my Patreon in the description. Every bit helps to the creation of these videos. One step at a time in improvement, and that's the goal of this channel. Alright guys, have a good time, and thanks for watching.